Call session of the Commissioners Court. There's a quorum present. In fact, all of our members are present. All legal notices have been posted and the court is duly called. Is there a motion to open court?
So moved.
Second.
Bailiff will please open court.
Dallas County Special Call Meeting is now in session and Honorable Clay Lewis Jenkins preside.
We will now consider court orders. Is there a motion on court orders 1 through 7? And Charles, which one needs to be pulled?
Pull two.
Pull 2.
Yeah,
Is there a motion on court orders 1 through 7 pulling 2?
Yeah.
Motion by Price,
Second by Garcia.
second by Gerst. Any discussion?
The only,
All
on
those-
7, when we talk about, I thought all of our flu shots, I was out there Saturday, I thought all of our flu shots were free. This says to indigent and low income. I thought we were giving away all flu shots. That's what this order says, and I was out there, said, I thought Dallas County, in order to be part of the whole preventive maintenance kind of deal, we were just giving away flu shots.
Well, I don't know if Dr. Wong or anyone's here from that department, but if you're talking about Eastfield, and you're talking about the drive-throughs at Eastfield.
I was there at Ellis County, and I understand that, but I'm just saying, period. Whether we're running a mobile unit, giving away free flu shots. This order says,
Say it's free
well, no, it says low income
And uninsured.
for all the uninsured.
and uninsured. I just,
Yeah. So I think how that's working out there at Ellis Davis and whatnot is if people have insurance, they may take it from them. But the intent is for anyone who comes to, as you know, anyone who comes to one of our sites and requests a free flu shot can get one.
okay.
I think probably the word low income is to encourage people who have insurance not to use our supply, but to go to Walgreens and get it there, or wherever they want to.
I want them to get the shot, but,
Right.
that's fine. All I know is I was there Saturday, I spent some hours out there, I watched the flow pattern, and most people were not coming to get tested, some were, but primarily getting flu shots. And so I just want to make sure we're not, jamming up the works, talking about, John, do you have insurance? I mean, we're giving flu shots.
What is the definition of low income?
The federal poverty level of.
30% federal, under federal level.
Or anyone who's uninsured, right? So,
Yeah.
if they can't go get it, if you're insured, you can get a free flu shot at CVS.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I was there.
Okay.
Okay, that's fine. I just want to put that out in the universe. Okay, I'm fine.
I have questions on 4 and 5, if we're gonna do these all en masse.
You wanna, did they second it, so we,
I second,
Okay,
I
okay.
second, Mr. Martin.
okay.
Okay,
The first question.
go ahead with your question.
Yeah, the first question on 4, in looking through everything that's being purchased, we're also obligating ourselves, it seems like, to a significant amount of the maintenance and support, so about at $800,000 a year. So we're shifting how the CARES funds over on some of these items, but we're still looking at, for these particular items that are being purchased, an additional $800,000 in service and maintenance in years 2 and 3. Is that correct?
Tony, Ms. Pippen-Poole.
Mr. Hurd is here.
What you see on your attachment for the 800,000, that's for the entire, equipment. That's for all of the equipment, not just what we're purchasing today.
Okay, all right, that was not clear, okay. And then on 5, I just wanted to make clear that this VOTEC mail-in ballot data system, this is not going to be available for this election. This will be up and running in December.
We're gonna have it up and ready for this election. We're gonna have. We're gonna have it up and ready for this election. We have the vendors, just waiting for the go-ahead, and they're gonna have it, configured and up and ready for us.
Okay. Yeah, that's my questions.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Argy?
Yeah, yeah.
Question on number 2 on the.
We're not on 2.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Gotta approve the other ones, then we're gonna come back to 2.
But you pull it, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, call the question.
Just one more thing then. I'm glad to see the additional cleanings at the early voting locations. Mr. Martin is what we call, some of the blue lights and other different kinds of cleaning, additional cleaning. That is very good, I think. This election, people need to feel safe as much as we can make it possible. Also, nobody pulled the census, right?
No.
I just want to say, colleagues, that this is something that, as you probably already know, thank you, Mr. Reed, and the committee that has been working on this. It's $38,000 that will go until October 30. That is now the new date for the census timeline. I want to thank everybody that has been working on this. We are, we still have a long way to go to be on the 2010 numbers. The reality is that we hope that we can get it on the next, 30 days. So with that, thank you, colleagues, thank you, Judge, thank you, Mr. Reed and ABI that has done a good job, energizing people to.
I have one question on 6 then, if you're coming up after Commissioner Garcia.
I'm done, Commissioner.
So get the,
On number 6, the budget that is presented, where there'll be a time when we get more detail on exactly what you're talking about here, on who's doing what.
On 6?
Yeah, because that's related to the Tech and Civic Light Grant budget update.
Yeah. When you say more detail, I mean, there's some detail here, but if you would like to know budget and the auditor's office, but mainly budget, they helped us go through and determine what funds, I guess some of our previous purchases that we made during the grant period, what can be brought into, I guess, transferred over into for this grant. So we have that detail, and we have all of the, basically, all of the purchasing, all the things that we want to purchase, the new and the things that we want to bring over into this grant or already here. If you want more detail about those, then we can provide that, but you have the costs, and we can certainly provide you with descriptions of the different services and items that we want to procure or change over.
Okay, I mean, the chunk items, I understand what you're saying, and looks like it's gonna supplement very nicely. But sometimes the devil's in the detail, and it's just, I would like to go over it.
And there were a lot of details.
Oh, I know. I
Yeah,
mean, so
good.
much of it makes sense, I mean, it's,
Dr. Watkins, you wanted to say something?
So we tried to provide the comments based on additional information that probably is required for each line item for all the new budget detail items, and then reconcile the previous budgets with this one.
okay.
So does that help? And then the ones without a comment, we'll have to get additional information on those. But all of these are the projected totals for each line item.
Okay. Because there's a lot of need contract or exemption.
Yes, so elections will be working, and we'll coordinate with elections to work with Michael Frosch and his team on those items as well.
Okay, thank you.
Judge,
Now
call
we
the
can call the
question.
question?
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I abstain. I abstain.
Okay, so it's four for the matter and one abstention from Commissioner Koch. Motion on all those orders passed. The next is Court Order 2. I'm going to make the motion as with the phrase that Charles requested. But you're going to have to tell me what it is, Charles, because I didn't bring my phone in here. And then you need to lay out for us exactly what happened and what's going on with it. So I move Court Order 2, substituting the City of Dallas for, what is the word, Charles? What's the fund?
We need to replace all references of City of Dallas with Communities Foundation of Texas, Dallas County Early Voting Campaign Fund. That's the phrase you're looking for, Judge.
Let me say that before I forget it, and then we can have a discussion. Give me a second. I make a motion that we approve to changing City of Dallas to the Community Foundation Texas Dallas Early Voting Fund. What is it, Charles?
Yeah, the name of the fund that the Communities Foundation of Texas has set up for this is the Dallas County Early Voting Campaign Fund.
Wait a
I
minute.
make that motion that we change that name to that thing. If there's a second for discussion, then explain to us how we got
I
it.
second.
Are you kidding me?
Okay, Charles, will you explain this to us?
So let me kind of explain the sequence of events that led us to where we're at now. Originally, staff had been working with the City of Dallas, utilizing Section 4 of the grant requirements under the Center for Civic Life and Center for Civic and Tech Life grant that was just referenced earlier.
But I thought we were working with an ILA.
We were working to get the court order in place so that we could subgrant funding for a messaging campaign from Dallas County through this grant down to the City of Dallas so that they can deploy the messaging campaign on our behalf. City of Dallas has in their procurement code that is specific to cities the ability to acquire advertising services through a discretionary exemption, something we do not have. They also have a communications department that fairly robust communications department that could have deployed this on our behalf. On Friday, we were notified that the City of Dallas did not want to pursue this anymore. In response to that, several conversations were had that led us ultimately to where we are now.
Well, no, wait a minute. Y'all found this out on Friday, and we just are hearing about it today, and then all of a sudden, I got a substitute with a foundation, nonprofit. What the hell's going on?
Commissioner, on Friday, I was still trying to salvage with the City of Dallas this plan.
Well, then
I'm on
Saturday?
the record with everybody at this point that my preference is the City of Dallas. They do not want to pursue this, so we don't have many options as a backup if we're wanting to deploy
But what
this.
options do we have besides this then?
Yeah.
Other than we can print all day long and we can mail all day long. We could theoretically print hundreds of thousands of flyers.
Or we would have control of the how and where it went, et cetera,
Well,
et cetera.
when he says we, that means internal. I just don't have the bandwidth internal to do that at all.
No. And see, and I don't want to, I don't want
Well-
my hand, I'm hands off. This is just, look, I'm not going to be part of this surprise. It appears as though, there's been some architecture going on. If you knew Friday, that's fine. We had Saturday, we had Sunday. And it sounds to me as though somebody has at least constructed a portal for us to be able to do this. I don't like it. It doesn't look clear. It doesn't look clean. I don't like it. I won't be a part of it. I
So
will
what
not
other
be.
options?
I'm
What
a no.
other options do we have?
As well, I'm a no. I think this is a little bit, there's been too many surprises with this outlook.
Well, there's too
as
many
it is.
surprises, colleagues, because we took forever to make this decision.
No, we did not.
I
When
mean-
we got this money $15 million we began to
We
try to
have-
look for.
Yeah, but we have no plan, and everybody that came with a plan, we have concerns about the plan. I mean, the reality is we have one choice. At this point, early voting starts tomorrow, guys. I mean, we have people going with pages and pages of ballots. We need to tell them where can they vote, how can they vote, to be prepared, to not stop at the top, to go all the way to the end of the ballot. Would you rather have some kind of message out there
We can't say
trying to
that,
tell
though.
people how to
We,
vote?
we cannot say that.
We cannot say that, stop at the top.
I understand, and I raised that comment. But I mean, there's so much information that we need to tell the public, and we, at this point, are gonna say, we'd rather don't have anything?
No.
I don't know. I mean, I think that going in the middle of a pandemic, going in the middle of an election that is crucial, that is long, that, is going to take some preparation for people, that I would like people to know that, hey, they can check the times where the polling place is not full, so they don't have to wait outside or in line. I mean, I would like people to have that information. And if it cannot be us, because of the state rules, it cannot be the city of Dallas because they don't feel comfortable doing it. We have the Communities Foundation, which is an organization with a good reputation, who has the means, who has the people that can work on this in a hurry. I mean, what?
Doctor.
And I understand, Commissioner, that we will have very little or no control whatsoever, but I trust an organization like the Communities Foundation can do a good job. And that's all I'm gonna say, because that's the only option that we have.
It's not the only option.
Oh,
because
what are the other options,
we-
Commissioner Cox?
We could use that money to be responsive and answer questions. So we could use that money on additional bandwidth and information placed on the website and a call center.
How many people in the Latino community and the African American community do not have access to a Wi-Fi?
And that's why you'd have a call center as well.
Well, and how many people are we going to have to answer all these questions in several languages when we can have a message that can be diverse, that can go to a lot of people, to the community
So, but
foundation?
is $300,000
We have
really
an
gonna get you that diverse
organization that
message?
pay for we have an organization that paid for the communications plan, money that we did not have, that we have not allocated.
Well, the
I
thing
mean-
is that it's not as though, and by the way, some of us did not wait, Mr. Reed, if you will recall, until we got this grant. I think I started asking as far back as when you were presenting from the CARES money, did I not?
Correct.
And we could not find an eligible way to get our arms around it. The DA's office had looked at everything from Harris County and water grants to, and as I said, I thought we had landed. And then now today, I'm hearing, nah, that doesn't work. We're gonna go to a nonprofit? Really? And then nobody's giving us options on, how many people get, I'm not there. I'm not there.
Till last week, we didn't even have a plan.
Well, and far as, no, we've
That
had
cost a
several
lot of
people.
money to produce.
We've had several people continue their amended plans, and before that, I was asking, we could have gone down the plan, Mr. Reed said that we could not find fashion ways to use CARES money, because I just knew it fall under that. Pandemic, we couldn't find a way. So now, we're getting a little creative, and I was fine as long as we were going through the city of Dallas, another interlocal government. I was fine, but now we're starting to veer off into foundations, and we're gonna pick and choose foundation.
Well, the only one that we could get.
Well, we don't know that. So who knew this?
Early voting starts tomorrow.
No. You're missing my point. You said this is the only one we could get. Who knew
At
this?
this point before elections, that follows a plan that we didn't have till, when did Dallas votes get give us the plan, Mr. Martin?
I
I
believe
think
the
we
original
all wish
presentation
that
of the
we
court
had
was
gotten
in
this grant a
September.
while back, that we could have done an RFP, done this the normal way.
I'm not talking about that, Judge. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the fact that somebody can all of a sudden pop up out of the hat with the Communities Foundation. My position is, okay, so how many foundations did you ask? How many foundations did you ask? Where did they come from? Where did the Communities Foundation come from?
I did not personally ask any
But where did it
foundations.
come from? It had to come out of somebody's, air. It had to come from somewhere. Some of us, come on. Hey.
We have a history of working with the Communities Foundation at the county. The Communities Foundation was suggested as another avenue. The requirements of the grant do allow us to subgrant to either a unit of local government or specifically a 501c3.
But this is the
Yeah.
first time that has been put on the table. We've been looking for units of government.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and if somebody would have said this a week ago, we all could have been looking.
I wish we had a number
Not
a week
the budget
ago.
that has been
It's not
submitted?
ideal, but the election does start tomorrow. And
Yeah, well, okay, and it's been starting
I
tomorrow for the
hear you.
last,
I hear
it's
you.
been starting tomorrow for the last 3, 4, 5, 10, it's been starting tomorrow. This is not new. I'm just not gonna be a part of it.
Okay, on the second page of the budget that was submitted, there is a section called Outreach and Communication, Other Mail Outreach Projects, and it's a $300,000 budget. What was the plan there? What was going to be that vehicle or conduit?
So when we were, when we were working on this budget, it came to our attention on Friday or Saturday or something like that, when we were working on it, that City of Dallas was going to get a piece of this, and that part of that funding was, that budget was going to that. So initially, we had taken it out. Then we understood, we were basically, we were informed that City of Dallas was no longer there, so, and nobody really knew what was there. So we put it back in so that it could be used for or towards outreach communication. We put it back in.
But in here, there's also on page 1, the subgrant to City of Dallas at $800,000, which would appear to match what this whole number 2 is about, right?
That's the amendment.
Okay, so
Well,
that's
we have,
different
yes, we have
from-
$390,000, and that was for the sample ballot. And that was, we weren't aware that, I never got a clear understanding or I guess answer on whether we were going to go forward with that. But
I don't think,
either rate, we were going to use it
the
for,
commission was for a sample ballot, but there is a question there. I think what the Commissioner's getting at is, you've got the $800,000, which is roughly the budget of what the votes group had presented, whether they're involved in it or not. But then you've got your sample ballot that would have cost let's say $400, $390, whatever you said. But what else did you want to do in outreach? And are you able to still do that outside of the 800 if the court votes on that today?
But Judge, they barely can run the election. I want them, first of all, before this is over, I want to talk about getting these dadgum people who have worked for 2 weeks paid. Hell, we're up here talking about messaging. We got folks that ain't been paid. So I want to make sure they're going to get paid. Number 2, where's the plan? Where is the plan? You said the plan was to take and to hand it off, to Mr. Martin and some folks, and we don't have.
And that's the bad news of how it works. Since we can't do it, we have to give it to some other source and let them pick a vendor. There's no other way around it legally, according to, our people.
Charles, what is supposedly the plan? Of course, anyway, but what supposedly is the plan? This is hodgepodge.
Up until Friday, the plan was to work with the City of Dallas.
I
They
got
have been
that.
working on messaging.
Okay.
I think the initial plan was to use the scope and at least the skeletons of the Dallas Votes plan, and that's what the information that they sent us, we were going to send to them, and they were going to fashion a plan out of that. So that was the initial plan, I believe.
Now,
But that was with the city.
With the city,
But,
exactly.
okay, so now what is, quote, the plan?
And my guess is that we
For
would do the
Dallas
same
County,
thing with Communities Foundation, that's take that same plan, give it to them, and have them fashion some sort of
Yes.
outreach plan from that.
Correct.
Wait, so the Community Foundation's plan is based on the Dallas Votes plan?
That's, Well,
The Dallas Votes plan was spiked by the city of Dallas because it's wildly illegal. I mean, it doesn't at all follow the election code. So are we gonna get spiked again?
Not the communications
Yeah, I was
plan.
unaware of that part.
The
that piece of it.
communications plan is the one that was sent to us, prepared by a private organization in communications.
Right.
Did I understand that correct?
That's correct.
And
So,
correct.
I mean, it's a, communications plan that has nothing to do, with what the city of Dallas was doing.
You
This-
just said a word.
And it was sent to
Let me
all
ask
of
you-
us last week. So we all have that.
Randall, first of all, she just said a word that she probably should have said private. And based on what I understand, that's part of the so-called issue with the so-called federal piece, public-private partnerships. As I read, I just caught myself reading it. That was one of the at least that's at least being put forth as part of the concern. Is that not correct? That is correct. Okay.
But public-private partnership, has nothing illegal if
Well,
it's done correctly by another.
Election, a federal
But
election
we
law
are not
prohibits.
going to go ahead and do it. That is the whole thing.
Whoa. We're talking about
A
election.
non-profit.
We're talking about
Let me
election.
ask a question. If I could, let me ask a question, because I'm not clear on one thing, Mr. Hurd, if you could help us. Because I think within Commissioner Price's concern is a concern that if the community foundation picks the Richards Group or some, ad agency that is not, it does not have great community knowledge, that communities could be missed in the advertising campaign. So, and I understand that concern, but beyond this, number two, do we not have money for outreach into specific communities within that money that you set aside to do the sample ballot and then the things on top of that? Because I notice our budget right now is 12 million, we gotta spend 15. Where are we on, specific communities, like the African-American community and outreach there? Do we not have money on top of two for that?
Yes. Now, so any of these line items, or they can, any of these specific items, community outreach, media, social media, or whatever it is, they're kind of like placeholders in that the grant allows us to, if we set aside that money that we have for number two, and it doesn't work out, the grant allows for us to reallocate that money to something else that can be used for the election. They'll allow us to do that. They're very liberal in what they will allow us to do with that money, just as long as it's
So there
related
would
to
be-
elections and COVID response.
So there would be
No,
nothing
Robert,
illegal in
I'm-
using the communications.
Assuming
foundation.
like this money is spent on two, we still have money, for community outreach, correct?
Yes, sir. There are several places in these various budgets. We weren't fully aware of the Center for Tech and, aware of what was going on with number two and some of these other things. But, for our budget that we put together, the money's
And
all
that-
there.
Okay, and that community outreach money, Tony and you, and for that matter, Dallas County, can work with our existing contracts, to get that money
What
out,
contract?
correct?
Yeah, what
What
contract is
contract are
that?
we talking about?
I think, Tony, I see Tony on there, don't you have, you talked about your existing printer on your idea of sending a ballot out to people?
Yes, we have an existing contract, with, Runback and several printers that we can send information out to them. We make the flyer or the brochure, or print the sample ballot, give a file, an existing data, and they actually just print the print job. So, and I do want to tell you
Tony,
that.
stop. Tony, stop. You know, our community is inundated with print, okay? Most of what happens, unfortunately, is audio. It's audio. I didn't see nothing in Dallas Votes. I didn't see nothing in any of this stuff that penetrates that veil.
We did have another proposal. I don't think that group did not come before the Commissioner's Court, but we did receive another proposal from a different group that did target minority areas in social media, also radio,
television.
Okay,
outside of
but that
print.
doesn't help us with this. You know, I hear all of that. You received another contract. We're here talking about Communities Foundation, and so
Right.
Well, what are you gonna say, Rhonda? Yeah, hold
We
on.
just found out about Community Foundations of Texas. We don't know if they were going to venture
what-
out and talk to the proposals that we received, and they can manage.
When did you find out? When did you find out? When?
About the city of Dallas. I found out that the city of Dallas wasn't the vendor Sunday.
Okay, so you found that out. When did you find out about Communities Foundation?
Today.
Yeah, Randall, Mr. Miller.
Commissioners, I do have a legal concern about the Open Meetings Act because the agenda was posted for only to consider giving the sub-grant to the city of Dallas.
I agree.
It's difficult to hear you.
The agenda posted was only to give the sub-grant to the city of Dallas, so I have an Open Meetings Act concerned about the motion.
I agree.
But didn't we are going to amend it? I mean, we knew we were gonna amend it
It
this
still
morning.
hasn't been posted, Commissioner. I would recommend the court not vote on it.
I mean, you guys, I mean, this is just amazing.
It is amazing.
It is amazing.
As in grace.
I mean,
Yeah, Randall, if we were to treat this as a violation, though, here's our challenge. If you're gonna say, well, the staff didn't post an amended order, so we need to now wait 72 more hours. The election starts tomorrow.
Right.
We do have amended orders that occasionally happen. For instance, we've had orders where people say, let's do one thing, and then the majority amends it to do the exact opposite thing. So changing.
But you can only amend the city of
name
Dallas.
grantee.
Judge, I think what he's saying is, I mean, yeah, that's fine if you want to amend, but you don't get a chance to wholesale substitute. I think that's what he's saying.
Well, all we're amending is the word, changing city of Dallas or whatever the name of that.
That's called a wholesale substitute, Judge.
Well, and that happens. I've seen commissioners court. I've seen, people do amendments to do the exact opposite of what the order is. And the election starts tomorrow, and if we wait until next Saturday to have another meeting so that we can if it's the will of the court, give the money to a foundation so they can hire an ad agency to start, we'll be lucky to
What are our
get ads
options?
out the last week of early.
I would ask the court not to vote on the motion,
that board. I
and
just
either
looked
vote
it
on
up.
the city of Dallas's motion, or
looked
we're
it
still in a declared emergency.
He's answering the question of what options do we have?
We're still in a declared emergency with 1 hour's notice. We can post and have another meeting. But I would not recommend the court vote on the substantive change to the Communities Foundation based on the Open Meetings Act and with the notice that was
Now,
posted.
Randall, does this fit under emergency? Because we could do that even later today, but how is this an emergency under, is it, and I'll make the argument.
It's a
for you, but I'm not
substantive
sure-
change, Judge. It's a substantive change.
Oh, I know it's a substantive change, but you can't just have a 1 hour meeting because you feel like it has to be an emergency. Now, the argument that I can think of, Randall, is that we're trying to get people, which is true, we're trying to get people to vote early, so they're not all stacked on top of each other on election day, because we're in the middle of a global pandemic. But does that squarely fit within the 1 hour notice requirement?
I would need to take a look at
That's
that,
it.
Judge. I would need to take a look
That's
at
a
that.
question, Randall.
What did you respond to?
So that leaves us where this, the number 2 is dropped out of the agenda, right?
If in fact we try to do a substantive change.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, we can't do it
Yeah,
as it's
you're right.
written.
Okay.
So what options are
Randall,
there? It
does
sounds
that
like we
fit
don't have
into
that
the 1
option.
hour notice requirement?
I would want to go back and look at that, but potentially,
I
yes.
don't think this meets the test of an emergency though, but I mean, hey, I'll let you lawyers do
It does meet emergency.
What? How do you make a communications contract an emergency?
It's an emergency, Commissioner.
Because the
We're
deadline of
putting
elections is
people-
coming up and it's related.
Well,
I mean, I don't know if you haven't seen what's going on with the elections department and the way things are moving, you know, it's an emergency. This is what qualifies for me as a big emergency. Communications, what we're supposed to do best as government is either this one or probably nothing. You know, so you pretty much are going to tell the voters, good luck.
I'm doing a little
Good
bit more.
luck,
than
figure
telling
out
them.
yourself.
Yeah, I'm
That's a
doing,
great message.
yeah, but I'm doing a little bit more, at least in my.
Well, I can do it in my district. We all can do it social media, but that's not
I'm not talking about
comprehensive
social media.
communication.
I'm talking
I'm
about-
talking about a little bit of everything, but the reality is no one can do better than an effort that is conjunct, comprehensive, and with a plan.
And I'm
we
not,
presented
and I
it.
haven't seen that. Where is
Commissioner,
it?
just, Mr. Martin sent it to us last week.
Oh, I saw that. That's definitely not comprehensive.
Can I recommend that we vote or not vote on this item? Give us an opportunity to meet with Russell and the attorneys, and if you guys can hang around for a bit and let you know whether or not some of this could be considered an emergency, because some of the information we were sharing with folks is how to vote safely, how to have 6-foot distance in voting, you know, that kind of information based on COVID. But I need to meet with Russell.
That sounds good, and how long would you need?
Well, the posting is an hour's notice, so I at least need an hour from you. So give us 15 minutes to talk about it, and then an hour after that. So I would say 4 o'clock. Okay?
All right.
And so what are you offering at 4 o'clock?
In the meantime, so that maybe all the rest of the court knows, I pulled it up a while ago, pulled the Communities Foundation board and distributed, so we show how vast they are.
Beggars can be choosers.
Well, they
You know, that's my point.
You still guys
certainly
still have to act on
don't
this
argue
item.
that it's a partisan, board. But that's probably a good thing, right?
Some would argue what?
Okay.
I didn't talk about partisan, I just said vast. I just want to see how vast it is. I don't know anything about any of the political dynamics. I'm just talking about the people who make up the board.
Hey, man, Commissioner Press, did you send us an email?
Come again?
Did you turn it up?
You said you distributed
So
it. Did
can
you
we
send us
finish
an
the voting
email?
and wait 1 hour then?
Did I distribute?
Well,
So we can turn him up a little bit. Did you?
Did I sign it?
Commissioner Price, did you email that to me?
Oh, no, I said I pulled up the board. No, I just said maybe I need to distribute it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll distribute it.
Oh, I thought you said, I'm sorry. I
No,
thought
no,
you
no,
said
oh,
you
no,
did.
no. I just
All
said,
right.
because I need to figure out who they are.
Okay, so then we're gonna stand adjourned until 4 o'clock, correct? That's what you need, Errol?
Well, we'd have to post a whole new meeting, correct?
Yes, we'd have to-
We'd have to post a whole new meeting, so you need to do something with number 2, close this meeting out, and we'll let you know shortly whether or not we're gonna have another meeting, Judge.
So we need to take.
Well, now, if,
I think was pulled, wasn't it?
no, let's not do that. I'll adjourn this meeting whenever the lawyers tell me to, and the other folks don't need to be here for that. But once we adjourn it, then if you come back in 30 minutes and say, oh, yeah, it's fine, vote on it now, and we've adjourned, the meeting's over. So we'll just be in recess until you tell me what your legal opinion is. and then we'll recall everybody, or I'll adjourn it and start your new meeting.
We can do it on
But
the
that,
notice
that
potentially
doesn't
on Monday.
fulfill the legal responsibilities, does it, Mr. Miller?
I would recommend posting a new meeting. I'm looking at it right now about the emergency provision.
Because just extending the time of the meeting
We
does
still have an open
not
meetings
cure.
act. I would
So
recommend
court,
posting a new meeting.
court stands in recess until further notice.
That doesn't make any sense.
And,
Judge, that doesn't help you. You've got to call a new meeting with hours notice.
What were you saying? I'm sorry. No, I looked it up.
There it is, I mean, I don't know,
No, that's what I
that I
said.
could find several, yeah, but I mean, you cannot argue
Yeah, I
that.
think we have to adjourn the meeting, we're saying, Judge, and we can call another meeting. Because I don't, based on what Randall's saying and the attorneys are saying, we can't act on this item unless we're acting on an item related to the city of Dallas. I just texted Russ and he agreed, so.
Here's why I'm recessing for now rather than adjourning. When you go back and do the research, it may be that you find that if you've adjourned the meeting, you have to wait 72 hours to call another meeting. And I want to give the commissioners who would like to see the public get this information an opportunity to just consider voting on that and vote it up or down, if that's going to be the case, because 72 hours from now, what would that be, Friday? And the chance of there being any meaningful communication to the public, would be greatly diminished. So let's find out what the rules are before we, before I adjourn. But once you've found out, I'll be more than happy to adjourn in 30 minutes or whenever, and we won't start without anybody.
Mr. Randall,
We'll
you're in
make
the
sure
court.
we've got everybody. But we're recessed for now.
I'm not gonna close it, because the judge is right, if we close it, it's 72 hours more. He give an opinion, he's trying to work on it,
Yeah.
Where'd we end up?
What are you saying, Ryan?
it's on the
Where'd
clock.
we end up?
Commissioners, I guess,
Excellent.
What are you saying?
And if we are recessed, we gotta
if you
quit
want-
talking to each
if the
other.
court wants to recess this meeting, they can. We may end up posting a new meeting and adjourning this one.
Okay.
We're on recess.
I'm
I
doing
got
the
his
research
last
right now.
words that we were adjourned,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
On recess.
Okay.
So, and a lot of the judges and people who are running fast, they cancel because they'll be part of
Save
it.
it.
So kind of send it.
They left the portal open for the public to join in. Satisfied we got it shut right.
I thought you had
We're setting,
open up and then go back into executive session.
Okay. Okay.
You gotta declare.
Okay. Court is, will resume, and we're now gonna go, into closed session under chapter 551 of the government code. Why, Randall, are we going into closed session since that wasn't previously posted?
For legal.
Judge, we wanted to talk to the court, and after looking at the law, we can add a 1-hour emergency addendum to this meeting if the court chooses to do that and do that today. This is section 551.045 of the government code, and
So
subsection
it would
A.
be legal advice is the reason we're going into
that's
closed.
correct.
Yes.
That's correct.
Now, with that said, this subsection A says you can add a 1-hour notice to a already posted meeting if there's an emergency or urgent public necessity. Now, if the court wants to make a finding that if there's an emergency or urgent public necessity, we can add a 1-hour notice addendum to this meeting.
Okay.
Now, with that being said, someone may challenge that.
Oh,
So the safest course of action
Well, now.
would be to do a
now,
72-hour notice.
Is this the discussion we should be having in closed or yes?
I have you there.
Yes, recommend we go into close now, Judge?
I thought we were in close.
No, we're not yet.
No, that's what I was trying to get us to do,
Okay.
so he could
All
declare.
right,
So
well, I'm sorry.
that's all right. Okay, so Judge, we've opened and we're going into closed session.
So, yeah, so we are now adjourned under chapter 551, or I'm sorry, we're recessed under chapter 551 of the government code to go into closed session for legal advice about the posting of matters, specifically court order number 2 or matters arising from that. We'll begin this closed session as soon as the computer can be switched over.
Okay.
We okay?
Meeting closer.
Yeah.
He said okay.
Okay, all right, we are now back in open session. And we will take, the matter before us is number 2, order number 2. We've been given, legal advice that posting, may be, problematic. And so is there a motion on the part of the court as to what to do with order number 2?
Judge, this is Commissioner Alba Garcia. After hearing advice from our attorneys, I believe that we have the opportunity to have a meeting in 1 hour if this is an item that is considered an emergency. And I personally believe that this is an emergency when we're trying for people to be informed in the middle of a pandemic about their safety and, of course, the knowledge on the election process. So I move that we posted this meeting for agenda item number 2 in an hour. And I
Okay.
Yeah, I don't believe it's an emergency, and I think it's not the right thing
I
to do.
definitely don't believe it's an emergency. It's of our own doing. It's our own doing. We've known since Friday that it's our own
I
doing.
didn't know it was going to change, though.
We've known
Was,
since Friday.
was there a second or was there no second?
There was no second.
Well,
Nobody gonna say
I just wonder what's gonna change in an hour?
nothing. No.
Because I understand that there is an emergency in the respect that the agenda was created for this particular meeting, and then there were changes that happened unbeknownst, I mean, it was within that time frame, which essentially mooted the items on the agenda, number 2 in particular. But what's gonna happen in an hour that's gonna change?
Nothing. We will come back in an hour and
What
vote on
our
agenda item
options,
number 2.
because that's the whole
Yeah.
point, is
Well,
what are our
what-
options now to,
The option was to come back in an hour and substitute Communities
So I
Foundation
think
for the
come back
city
in
of
an hour
Dallas.
or come back in 3 days?
In an hour, Judge.
Yeah.
That was
You want
that's the change
I'll,
for the hour.
I'll make a motion, because I don't believe it's, I'll substitute motion, since it's in there a second, that we come back in 3 days. This is of our own doing. We've heard testimony that apparently somebody's known since Friday. Some of us didn't know until today. That has nothing to do with the public in terms of them being able to know. And so, it needs to be a 72-hour.
I'll second.
Okay.
I got a motion and a second.
will that allow us
All
to
right.
ask a
So
question?
let's discuss that. Let's discuss that motion if you could. Nothing will change in the 3 days. And my opinion would be, there's nothing that's going to change in the 3 days except that for 3 more days, the public won't have the benefit of any of the communication that we'll ultimately vote on.
Correct.
So
But we will
That is
have,
my
we
concern if
will
I were
have the
to-
benefit of finding out what problems actually are existing. And, you know, we
Right.
have a lot of speculation right now over what information the public does and does not have. By getting 3 days of feedback from our early voting judges during a 3-week period of early voting actually would be the safest course forward. We would know what types of questions are being asked and at what volume, so we can have something that's crafted a little bit better with the entity that actually can deliver for us in a lawful way.
So Commissioner Koch, can you envision a scenario where you would vote for a expenditure of money to get people to vote early?
Yeah, if we had the right entity with, you know, the message in front of us on how we're voting to, you know, keep people safe, essentially. If not that we're, you know, stepping over the line saying you've got to go vote. Rather, if you're voting, this is how you have to do it. This is the information on where to vote, the rest of the dates and those pieces. I can envision myself if we're doing it, you know, essentially along the lines we're supposed to be doing it with the entity that we can trust and know that we can work with in an effective manner. Yeah, I could see that.
We already have all the information at this point.
Got a motion and a second, Judge, and I'm
Any, any further discussion?
Well, I just want to put onto the record that yes, you know, somebody made the comment that this was our own doing. Yes, this was the own, you know, inactivity of this court, and I agree on that point. You know, I don't think anything is going to change from here to 3 days, but I do believe we could let the people know, you know, some of the concerns and how to be safe and more knowledgeable during this election for 3 days. With that, Judge, you have a motion and a second.
I'd just like to say too that hopefully that 3-day time period will add some clarity and we can explore the variety of options that we do have. So I would see a benefit in waiting the 3 days and do it right.
All right. Question's been called. This is on a substitute motion to repost this for 72 hours or near to 72 hours to the post. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Motion carries unanimously. I'm sorry?
No.
Dr. Garcia was no.
I voted no.
Okay. Okay. So that motion has one no. So, you know, I mean, whatever, I'll vote with the majority, I guess, if that's what we're going to do. We have no further actions necessary as for the closed session. We've already had it, so the court stands adjourned. Thank you all.
Just so the court knows, we will post for 4 o'clock on Thursday. Okay? I need time to get them to post it.
Okay.
So it'll be 4 o'clock.
Perfect.
Okay. Now,